Hey, how's it guys? In this tutorial, we'll learn how to upload, download, and delete files in Google Cloud Storage using Google Cloud Storage API in Python. So before diving into the tutorial, I want to quickly cover the prerequisites first. So to be able to follow along this exercise, first you will need to have some experience working with Python. And it would be ideal if you have some experience working with Google Cloud API. You also need to have an active Google Cloud account, and just these three things. And if you don't have any experience working with Google Cloud API, then you can watch the video from the link in the description below to get started with how to use Google Cloud API in Python. And one more thing. So before you can use Cloud Storage API, make sure that you enable the service first by going to your Google Cloud Console, then go to APIs and Services, then go to Library, and look for Cloud Storage API and enable the service. Now let's dive into the tutorial. So here in my Google Cloud Storage, I have two buckets created. Now let me delete the first bucket because that's going to be the bucket that I'm going to create using the API in this tutorial. So here in my Python script, I already wrote down the steps. So for this exercise, we're going to follow 4 different steps. Step 1 is going to be preparing the variables. Next, we're going to create a class to store different functions to perform different tasks. Next, we're going to use the API to create a bucket. And we'll name the bucket GCP API demo. Next, we're going to use the API to upload files. And this should be step 5. Here, give me a second. Step 5 should be download and delete files. Now let's start with the import statement. So for this Python program, I'm going to import the OS module. And for the file management, I'm going to use pathlib library to manage files directory. And to detect the file map type, and it's going to be used by the class. We're going to import the map types module. And to work with Google Cloud Storage API from google.cloud, we're going to import the storage module. And if you don't have the module installed, you can use the command pip install Google Cloud Storage. Alright, so let's do this. We're going to prepare the variable first. Now let's do this. I'm going to insert the initial template for the GC storage class. So here we have a tuple object, and I name the object storage classes. Basically, this tuple object stores the tier name that we'll need to assign based on your usage use case. We're going to assign the tier by referencing the storage classes tuple, which I'll show you in a second. As for the GC storage class, so here's going to be the constructor. And the constructor is going to take an instance of the cloud storage client instance. And inside the constructor, we're going to create an attribute called client to store the cloud storage instance. Now going into step 1, we're going to prepare the variables. So here I'm creating 4 different variables. My working directory variable, which is going to point to my project folder directory. And inside my project folder, I have 2 folders created. One is called My Files. Inside the My Files folder, these are the 2 files I want to upload to my Google Cloud Storage account. Then I want to download the files to this downloaded folder. Then I want to delete the files I uploaded to my cloud storage. Basically, the flow looks like this. So we're going to upload the file. Then we're going to download the files to a different folder. Then we're going to delete the files that we uploaded to the cloud storage. Just a very simple workflow, but this is a pretty common use case in many places. Now let me go ahead and create my Google Cloud Storage instance. And GC storage class object. Now going into step 3, we want to use the API to create a bucket, and we'll name the bucket GCP API demo. Alright, so going back to the GC storage class, I want to insert 3 functions, and I'll go over the function one by one. So the first function is going to be create bucket. So this function takes 3 parameters: the bucket name, storage class, then the server location we want to host the files. Now inside the create bucket function, we are referencing the storage client instance. And from the client object, we are referencing the bucket method. Then we're going to provide a bucket name to create the bucket reference. So this bucket object at this point is just a reference. Then we're going to attach the storage class attribute, giving the storage class argument. And to actually create the bucket, we need to use the create bucket method, and we insert the bucket reference, followed by the bucket location or the server location. And the other 2 methods are getBucket and listBuckets. So getBucket basically will take the bucket name and referencing the bucket object if the bucket already exists in your Google Cloud Storage account. And the listBuckets method is going to list all the buckets in your account based on the project that you provide. In this case, I'm using my SQL for BigQuery project. Alright, so let me go ahead and create my GC storage class. And let me import the libraries, as well as creating the storage class's tuple object. Now let's see, let me recreate the variables in the storage client instance and go ahead and create the GC storage object. And I'll name the object GCS. Now in step 3, we're going to create the GCP API demo bucket. Now here I'm going to insert an if statement. Now if we look at this code here, so basically I'm checking that using the GCS.listBuckets method, I want to make sure that this GCS API demo bucket is not created already. And if the bucket is created already, then I want to use the getBucket method to create my buckets object to reference to the bucket. Now let me go ahead and run this if block. And that creates the GCP API demo bucket. So here if I refresh the page, and here's the GCS API demo bucket. Now if I simply run line 43 here to attempt to create the same bucket, and it's going to return error. Your previous request to create the name bucket succeed, and you already own the bucket. So that's why we need to use an if condition to check the bucket's availability first. Now if I run the if block again, and because this condition is never met, so it's going to go ahead and go to the else block and create the buckets reference. Alright, so to upload files using Google Cloud Storage API, it is actually pretty straightforward. Alright, so here I have a loop. We know the files folder is tied to this my files folder. Inside the my files folder, I have 2 files. One is a data.csv file, and the other one is an image file. And since the files folder object is referencing to a folder, I want to list out all the files based on this files folder path. And we can provide a pattern to specify the files. So here my pattern is looking at all the items in this folder, and I want to return all the items that has an extension. So if I go ahead and run the loop, and I'll just print the file path object based on this output here. And it's going to return 2 strings. And these two strings are basically the file location to these two files. Now, to upload a file, going back to the cloud storage class, I'm going to insert a method called upload file. So when we are uploading a file, we need to provide the bucket's location or bucket reference where we're going to upload the file to. And blob destination is basically the object name and the source file location that we're going to upload to the storage account. Now I want to show you one thing. So here, let me go into the buckets folder. So this is one of the weird things that when you manually upload a CSV file to Google Cloud Storage. And if you look at the MIME type or the application type, so Google Cloud Storage is going to treat a CSV file as an Excel file type. And if you have worked with CSV files before, then you know this is the wrong MIME type. It should be CSV/txt. Let me delete this file. So that's why in this upload file method, I have a condition to check the file type. And if the file type is CSV, then I want to override the MIME type to text CSV. And for Photoshop files, I also noticing that the engine is not interpret the file type correctly. Otherwise, I'm going to use the MIME types module that gets type function to return the file MIME type that we're going to pass to the upload function from the blob object. Right, so from the bucket argument, so this referencing this, actually, let's go back. That's referencing the bucket underscore GCS object. So this is going to tie to this bucket here. And from the bucket's argument, there's a function called blob. And the blob method will take a string, and the string is going to be the name that you want to assign to the blob object. And from the blob object, we want to use the upload from file name method to upload a file. So here's the file path from the file path argument, followed by providing the file MIME type. And that will return the blob object. Alright, so let's go ahead and run the upload files operation. Right, so inside this loop, I'm uploading the files from the My Files folder. And I want to upload the files into two different formats. One is without the file extension, and one is with the file extension. Now if I go ahead and run this loop, looks like I didn't create the, oh, I know why. So I need to recreate the GCS object. Right, so if I go ahead and run this loop, now it's going to upload the files, these two files, and it's going to create two different versions. So I would recommend that every time when you upload a file, always use the full file name. And you will see why in a second. So here, the second operation, upload the two files using the full file name. So here we name these two objects, data.csv and visionai.png. And if I go into well extensions folder, so based on the blob destination, so we can provide a subdirectory by simply append a directory name followed by the object name. Now if we go into the well extensions subdirectory, so here we have the exact same two files, data and Vision AI, except that we didn't assign an extension name to those two files. But if we look at the object detail, you can see that these two objects has the correct file type assigned to the metadata. Now let's go to step 5, which is to download and delete files. Alright, so going back to the GC storage class, I want to add one more function, and it's going to be the last function of this class. So the function is called list blobs, and this function takes a bucket name as argument. Basically, we can use this function to return all the objects given the bucket name. So in this case, let me just give you an example. From the GCS object, I'm going to insert the list blobs function. And my bucket name is going to be GCS API demo. Now if I execute the function, it's going to return an iterated object. So we can insert loop to iterate the output. Yeah, let's just print the object name. So if I run the loop, it's going to return each object's location. Now to download the files and delete the files after we finish downloading. So here, let's do this. I'm going to save the output as GCS_demo blobs. And from the iterated object, I'm going to say for blob in GCS demo blobs. And because these two files have a subdirectory, we want to make sure that these two files destination match to what we have in the cloud storage. So here inside the loop, I'm going to do this. So I know I already created the download folder path object that linked to this downloaded folder. So I can basically join the object's name by using the join path method from the pathlib object. And this will be blob.name. And let me name this to path download. And from the path object, I can check if a set directory exists by referencing the parent attribute that exists. And here I want to insert an if condition. If the set directory does not exist, I want to create the set directory in the downloaded folder. So from the path object, we can create the set directory by referencing the parent folder, then create the directory by using the mkdir function. I want to set the parent to true, and this should be plural parents. Now we can safely download the file to their rightful location. So from the blob object, we can reference in the download to file method. Then we're going to provide the download path. And because path download is an object, not a string, so we need to convert that to a string to return the file path. So we can do that by inserting the string function. And once we download the file, we can delete the object using the delete method. Alright, so here, if I look at my GCS API demo bucket, now if I go ahead and run this code block to download the files, and here I'm getting an attribute. Let me take a look. Oh, so here I have a typo. This should be download to file name. Alright, so let me try again. So we have the first two files downloaded. And inside the well extension subdirectory, we have our two files, well the extension. So the reason why I recommend that you always provide the full file name is because when you download the file, if your object does not include the extension name, then when you download the file, it's going to be difficult to figure out what's the right extension to use. Alright, so this is going to be everything I'm going to cover in this video, and hopefully you guys found this video useful. And feel free to leave your feedback or any question in the comment section below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.